What up, guys, and welcome back to Thomas Reacts here on the 360 Experience with myself, Thomas Mabaso. The leader of economic freedom fighters, Julius Malema, is not particularly happy with President Cyril Ramaphosa and the African National Congress, and I believe he's not the only person in the country that is not happy with President Cyril Ramaphosa and the African National Congress. Because, guys, if you remember, a week back, a hijacked building in Johannesburg that was turned into an informal settlement. It caught fire and over 70 people lost their lives and over 40 people lost their lives. And the ANC social minister of social development went there and she blamed apartheid for everything. Lindiwe Zulu went there and she said that this is the fault of apartheid, and people were so mad at her. And after that, the president of the country, President Cyril Ramaphosa, was speaking with the media and he said that there is a lack of capacity in the government and we don't have enough town planners, we don't have enough engineers, we don't have enough CFOs, and that is the fault of apartheid. And guys, at this time, people were really mad at President Ramaphosa, because how can the president say that when we have so many people who are qualified, who are sitting at home doing nothing, and the president says that there's a lack of capacity within the government? He doesn't want to talk about the fact that there's a lack of capacity within the government is because the ANC is prioritizing the cadres instead of people who are actually qualified to do their jobs. They are prioritizing their friends and family members instead of people who are actually qualified to do their work. And now the president says that that is the fault of apartheid. So Julius Malema, guys, yesterday he gave a speech, and in this speech he's not happy about the ANC, he's not happy about the South African Reserve Bank, and he's not happy about the fact that the African National Congress wants to blame everything on this country, on apartheid and on foreign nationals.
The office of the Reserve Bank is being destroyed in defense of a woman abuser called Cyril Ramaphosa. The ruling party in South Africa, after having tested the ground through various proxies and puppets on the ground, has taken a deliberate decision that it will certainly blame the social ills of our country on illegal immigrants.
And guys, how does that work, man? I don't understand this, because I remember before Ramaphosa went to Zimbabwe to embarrass himself in front of the world, he said that the African National Congress is planning on dealing harshly with foreign nationals in the country. And he went to Zimbabwe to support a man who makes it possible for Zimbabweans to come to South Africa to flock us, basically. So how does that work? How can President Ramaphosa accept and support ZANU-PF and support Mnangagwa, and at the same time saying that the African National Congress is going to deal harsh with foreign nationals in the country? Guys, I honestly do not understand it, because even the ANC Youth League President Colin Malachi was saying the same thing, that the president must unleash the military on foreign nationals in the country. So I'm like, how is that going to work when these people are not even guarding our borders, when these people are supporting regimes like ZANU-PF? So how does that work? Where is the balance, guys, exactly? Because you can't blame foreign nationals on one hand and at the same time supporting a regime that actually makes everything hard for South Africans, man.
The very same ruling party that has African in its name has adopted as an election strategy that it will attribute its failures to African people. And it does so to take advantage of our people and distract them from the fact that they have failed. They do this out of desperation, and part of their strategy, most recently, is to invoke apartheid as a reason for their 3 decades of failure to change the lives of black people in South Africa. The lack of investment in education means that we do not have sufficient scientific, engineering, and town planning capacity, which leads to the overcrowding of buildings and the congestion of our people in townships and city centers where there are job opportunities. They blame their negligence on education and skills development on apartheid. It is the EFF that has long warned of the suspicious role of the NGOs in our country, which are funded by the likes of George Soros and have been an ally to various factions of the ANC since the dawn of democracy. Now, because it suits them, they have betrayed their NGO allies who have never held them accountable for issues such as the sealing of the CR17 documents, the Pala farm saga, and the overall failing presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa. They are now able to blame NGO.
And guys, what do you think about President Ramaphosa's presidency, man? Do you think that President Ramaphosa has failed as a president, or do you think that he has done his best as a president? Because one of the issues is that is the whole COVID issue, is the whole COVID thing. How do you think that President Ramaphosa did with the whole COVID thing? So do you believe that President Ramaphosa failed as a president? Do you believe that the South Africans should not give him a second chance, or do you believe that South Africa should give him a second chance? And guys, if you believe that President Ramaphosa has failed, who is the perfect person to replace him as the president of this country?
Because it suits their agenda. The ruling party in South Africa is attempting to play a delicate balance between being proud to have governed since 1994, while at the same time being so ashamed of its failures that they depict themselves as victims of the system. The EFF must be able to articulate that the domestic conditions of South Africa of collapsing infrastructure, lack of electricity, lack of water, lack of housing, and the rising cost of living must be blamed on the ruling party that was never prepared to govern in the first place. Our state-owned enterprises are being privatized by an unaccountable minister of private enterprise by the name of Jamnandas Godan, who is permanently sick whenever he has to account to Parliament for his role in destroying our assets.
Jamnandas.
We must articulate this to our people who suffer chronic load shedding and lack of affordable transport because a group of individuals are selling our national assets such as Eskom and Transnet to the highest bidder. Fellow comrades, our institutions are compromising defense of a president who has no capacity to take our country forward. The Office of Public Protector has been destroyed in defense of a money launderer. The Office of the Reserve Bank is destroyed in defense of a woman abuser called Cyril Ramaphosa. The Office of Revenue Services has been destroyed in defense of Cyril Ramaphosa. I can tell you this without any hesitation. They are now attempting to destroy the IEC so that the IEC can defend Ramaphosa's defeat on the polls in 2024. But they must find out ready for them. We must never allow.
And guys, another question. Guys, I always ask this question. Do you believe that the ANC will simply step out of the way if they are voted out of power in 2024? What are your thoughts on that, man? A lot of people have said that the ANC is not going to simply relinquish power just like that. They say that the ANC is going to make it hard. So I believe that the ANC will simply just let go if they are voted out of power in 2024. What are your thoughts about that, man? What are your thoughts? How do you think ANC losing the election is going to affect everything? How do you think everything is going to work out if the ANC loses the elections, man?
Anyone who is a member of SATU or any member of the union that is aligned to COSATU to be part of the IEC. COSATU has declared on daily basis that it will support the ANC. How can members of unions aligned to COSATU be allowed to go and be presiding officers and IEC staff members at the VD level? I don't know these people. You know them very well. You are going to identify them and you are going to object them. And if you see them on election day working for the IEC, we will stop the VT until those individuals are removed because they've declared questions very clear. Comrades, why do you hire teachers who are affiliated to SATU when there are so many young people in South Africa who are unemployed, who can get an opportunity on that day to work for 1 or 2 days and something and be able to earn something for a living? Comrades, there are a lot of people who are not registered to vote. Home Affairs and IEC, they are refusing with the data of the people who are not registered to vote. When you are a South African, you have an ID. Home Affairs has got a data of all of us. Therefore, Home Affairs will have a data of all those who have turned 18 and above. And because the IEC works under Home Affairs, then Home Affairs will give to the IEC that these are the people who are 18 and above South Africans, all of them. Then the IEC will plug that into their system. Then it will tell them those who are registered and those who are not registered. Therefore, we'll have names, surnames and addresses of people who are not registered to vote, so that we can go to those people and convince them about voting. Because if you do not vote, you are actually voting for the ANC by not going to vote. So we need to convince these people. But the IEC is refusing with their data. I have asked, I've not seen it, that a letter, a legal letter, must be written to the IEC, putting it under terms to give us the data of unregistered voters of South Africa. And if the IEC refuses to give us the data, we must go to the Electoral Court and say, how are we expected to fight for free and fair elections when the IEC is refusing us with information that will create free and fair election and ensure that there is maximum participation on the election day after we've registered these unregistered voters?
So guys, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts? Do you believe Julius Malema about what he's saying? Because if it's true what he's saying, then maybe the IEC might as well be accused of election interference, but I'm not sure. What are your thoughts about it? What do you know about this whole thing of IEC refusing to give political parties the data of people who are not actually registered to vote? And what are your thoughts on President Ramaphosa's presidency? Man, do you believe that South Africans should give President Ramaphosa another term, or do you believe that it's fine right now? He served his time. It's time to go. What do you think is going to happen with the African National Congress? Do you think that the African National Congress is going to vote again for President Ramaphosa to be their leader again? So guys, please, I would really appreciate it if you tell me your thoughts on the comment section, and don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, guys, please subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.